Beep, 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 Jester. Become a warrior teacher. Canada, we need you. Oh, Canada. Come on. Canada, or America for that matter, or anybody that's in a time zone where 1 a.m. in the morning Brit time is good for you. Our adverts going up. Come on, contact me. Let's go. We need more numbers. And buy me a coffee if you can. End of the month's coming. Buy me a coffee. Buy me a beer. Send me a super thanks on YouTube if you wish. You can now do that as well. Isn't it wonderful, all these different things you can do? I love it. Right. This is extraordinary, right? Okay. But I was warning about this years ago. I wrote to university. I told them what was going to come, but they didn't believe me. All sitting there in their STEM bubble going, no, this won't work. I told them, now we're in trouble. Now we're in real trouble. Top mathematicians warn curriculum being politicised with diversity guidance. Over 50 leading professors claim the Quality Assurance Agency. Now, the Quality Assurance Agency generally looks at things and says, yeah, that's okay, that's not okay. We need a higher standard in education. And here they're saying it's trying to make students pay for their own indoctrination. And Louisa Clarence Smith, the education editor for The Telegraph, has written a good piece here. And that's exactly what they're doing. Right? It's Maoism, isn't it? It's Maoism. It's like when people used to go to the Crusades and had to pay to go. It's the same thing. More than 50 of Britain's leading mathematicians have accused standards bosses of politicising the curriculum with new diversity guidance. Academics at top 50 universities have signed an open letter criticising guidance on academic standards that states that values of equality, diversity and inclusion, EDI, that's not what they mean DI, diversity, inclusion, inclusivity and equity, that's what they really mean, should permeate the curriculum and every aspect of the learning experience. They're not hiding it now. Don't forget UKRI, who controls the £7 billion of funding that goes to every single sort of, organisation in the country that does educate, universities, that type of thing, UKRI, universities, 7 billion are completely captured. You've now got to do this to get your money. They're completely captured. By nutters. Despite being told, phoned, written, emailed to by me going, don't do this. You're nutters. It's just insane. The guidance was published in March by the Quality Assurance Agency, an independent body that receives membership fees from more than 300 UK higher education providers and distributes advice on courses. Right, the first thing that the higher education providers need to do is to stop paying the QAA. Go woke, go broke. Don't give them any money. Get out the QAA, right? In an open letter, the mathematicians write, we reject the QAA's insistence on politicising the mathematical curriculum. Absolutely right. We believe the only thing that should permeate the mathematics curriculum is mathematics. Yes, right. Academics should teach from a perspective informed by their academic experience, not from a political perspective determined by the QAA. What we've got here is another external body with no right to do so. I don't believe they're in legislation anywhere telling people what to do. This is another quango. It's not quango because I don't think they're not attached to the government. I don't think it's just set up by the universities. They've got to go. Get rid of them. Get rid of them. It says here, it shouldn't be from the political perspective determined by the QAA. This is exactly the same thing as happened to me when I lost my university stuff. Exactly the same, just on a grander scale. See, they're so boring. It's a template. You put the template over and everything ends up the same. Oh, God, that's equity, isn't it? Or communism. I can't remember which. Students should be able to study mathematics without also being required to pay for their own political indoctrination. Prominent signatories include Professor Geoffrey Grimmett. Geoffrey, you should be in a Potter movie. Geoffrey Grimmett, head of the dark arts, who is widely known for his work in probability theory and statistical mechanics, and Professor Johannes Roof, an expert in mathematical finance at the London School of Economics. These aren't stupid people. The academics have warned that the QAA does not identify which of the many contested interpretations of EDI should permeate the curriculum. The QAA guidance suggests that professors should note that some early ideas in statistics, this is what they're saying they should do, were motivated by their proposers' support for eugenics. Some astronomical data is amazing to me that these people who are actually practicing eugenics are pushing the idea that eugenics was a problem, even though trans theory is eugenics. So, queer theory is neurogenics, and critical race theory is just race eugenics. It's extraordinary, isn't it? They are what they're saying you aren't. Is that right? It's insane, isn't it? Even I can't get it right. It's also said some astronomical data were collected on plantations by enslaved people, and historically some mathematicians have recorded racist or fascist views or connections to groups such as the Nazis. Isn't it amazing there's no talk here about what communism did with maths? Isn't it amazing there's no talk about the far left, because from these wibblers, these liberal leftist wibblers sat there in the QAA with their far too high salaries, munching on their £200 cheese board and their bottle of Chablis. I despise you with my very core. I've become a class warrior. Oh no, God help me. Maths professors said that the agency wanted to teach a skewed view of the history of mathematics. They noted that the QAA did not recommend teaching the universality of mathematical truth, the use of statistics to disprove historical racial theories, or about the Jewish mathematicians persecuted by the Nazis. In the latest QAA guidance for degree subjects, universities have been told to incorporate EDI into courses in maths, economics, engineering, business and management, biosciences, languages, law and politics, and international relations. It's a cult! And this is a virus. It's not a virus, it's a parasite, right? It's a parasite. It'll kill the host. The agency also recommends incorporating teaching on sustainable development. Here we go, it's the ESG goals coming in again, yeah? Which the QAA defines as an aspirational ongoing process of addressing social, environmental and economic concerns to create a better world. Right, this is a funny little agency called the QAA, which is funded by 300 universities. It's in the UK. It's probably staffed by people who've known each other for years, or by, these leftists that have sent them there from the universities. And here they are saying that they're concerned to create a better world. Is there any more arrogant individual creature than an enlightened woke, an unenlightened woke liberal? None. Right, and then a more arrogant, a better world. We're going to create a better world. Are you? Yeah, just get them gone. The maths guidance states that the subject has a vital role to play in achieving the UN's Sustainable Development Goals. Here we go. It's back to the United Nations. We've got to get out of this. We gotta get out of this place. We've got to get out of it. We've got to leave them. We've got to tell them no. It's not happening. You're done. Dr. John Armstrong, a reader in financial mathematics at King's College London and a signatory of the letter, said, education for sustainable development may sound like a positive thing, but when you look into what it is, what they are promoting is encouraging all students to become activists on issues of social justice. Well, it's extraordinary to me that this has been printed in the Telegraph on the 23rd of May, and I wrote about this 4 years ago. So did others, right? I told the people I was working with in the universities, there may be trouble ahead, folks, because this is what's coming. And now some of the professors are going, yes, they're ents, aren't they? They're ents, aren't they? Takes a very long time to say anything in order. They're ents. It's just insane. Education for sustainable development may sound positive. When you look into it, it's about activism. It's really quite a remarkable thing to change education from goals such as understanding, learning and appreciating art and shift everything towards consideration of social justice. This is back to the COMBB model that I mentioned in my previous blogs. The QAA was the official quality body in England until the end of March this year, when it became independent. That's interesting. That's interesting, isn't it? The QAA was the official quality body in England until the end of March this year, when it became independent. What do you make of that? Dr. Armstrong said that even though they were no longer the official standards body, they remain influential, as no other organisation has been set up to take their place. There's another organisation coming. Is this the government quietly beavering away? I hope so, because we've got to reclaim academia. There's an easy way to do it, mind. You just got to reinstate the Haldane principle. That's my thought. So they've still got lots of influence, these folks, right? This is a part of a general pressure that's being applied to universities, whether it comes from the QAA, the UN, or students. He said maths departments are coming under severe pressure, whether it's legally binding or not. Toby Young, our Tobes, over at the Free Speech Union, said, the QAA is supposed to be a politically impartial body that upholds standards in higher education, not an instrument for ensuring compliance with progressive orthodoxy. Under the rubric of EDI, it is trying to force mathematics departments to embed critical race theory in their curricula. That's exactly what they're doing, and that's exactly what schools across the country have fallen for, is the embedding of critical social justice into your curriculum for school children, and the entrance into the school of probably the second or first generation of fully socially justice indoctrinated teachers who then stand in front of the class and proselytise their mad beliefs. A spokesperson of the QA said, subject benchmark statements are written by groups of academics from the relevant discipline. Yeah, it doesn't matter what the discipline is, the templates, you've already said it yourself, right? It doesn't matter, they've infiltrated everything, you have to understand that, right? Institutional autonomy and academic freedom are crucial principles. And therefore, the statements do not mandate academics to teach specific content. They are a reflective tool to support course design and not compulsory. They always say this. Oh, it's just something to reflect upon. When it came to censoring comedy, oh, it's just something for you to reflect upon. They are the finger wagging, curtain twitching, urine stinking, toxic parent sat in the back of the car, moaning about everything. That's what they are. Fuck off. Susan Lapworth, the chief executive of the Office for Students, and here's another interesting bit. Susan Lapworth, we like you, Sue. Lapworth, chief executive of the Office for Students, said the Office for Students no longer works with the QAA on the regulation of quality in English universities. We do not expect universities to follow the QAA benchmark statements, and we do not endorse or support the contents of these documents. So what happened is the QAA became independent. The docs went, the professors went, get out of maths, you woke bastards. Get out, right? Take your nonsense grievance and power and oppression narratives with you, you bunch of woke wibblers, right? We don't want anything to do with you. And all of a sudden the QAA is independent, so they're not attached to anybody anymore, therefore they don't need to be listened to. And then the Office for Students, which controls all this stuff, generally that's a very powerful body, says we don't have anything to do with the QAA anymore. What's my thinking? My thinking says that if the universities wake up and smell the coffee, stop paying the QAA, we can get them gone in 12 months. Come on, universities, do your stuff. Stop paying the QAA and we can close the buggers down. Progress. Go on, have a good day.